What is up, y'all? It is Shakira with another episode of Girl Heal. This week we are talking about, girl, why are you afraid to be seen? If we can be honest, some of us have prayed for opportunities and then we get it and we go into hiding. And so this week we are covering, why are you afraid to be seen? Have you ever wanted something and you prayed for it, whether it was a role or opportunity? It came and you hid from it. You asked God to put you in places where you spoke more, and then the opportunity came to speak and you were quiet. You prayed for visibility, you became seen, and now you want to hide again. If you are in hiding, let this be your call to come out. Do not limit yourself by trying to be a hidden figure. Maybe in this season, it is not for you to hide. It is for you to be a light. Being seen is not just being visible. Visibility brings opportunity, but it also brings vulnerability. Vulnerability that comes with being seen. Being a leader, being a voice. You cannot want visibility without vulnerability. That is when it becomes problematic. Those two things go hand in hand. What does it mean to be seen? That means people will celebrate you and in the same breath criticize you, wish you well, and pray on your downfall in the same breath. A lot of us want the exposure, but we don't want the vulnerability that comes with exposure. We want to be celebrated, but we don't want to be criticized. We want to be highlighted, but we don't want to be corrected. The reason some of us struggle with being seen is because there's fear attached to it. The fear of failure, fear of being criticized. That's one of the things that I've learned. The more vocal you are, the more criticized you are. We prematurely rush being seen, but we have not built the strength to endure what comes with being seen. You have to toughen your skin. I'm not saying become emotionless. You have to know that just because someone offers up an opinion about you, that it does not make it true. Just because somebody criticizes you doesn't mean that they hate you. It could be miscommunication. Everyone who corrects you is not criticizing you. Everyone that goes against what you say is not in opposition. One of the things that holds a lot of us back is like-mindedness. We're group thinking. Innovation is not birthed in group thinking. That is why it is critical and so important to have different mindsets at the table. Right now, the fear of failure is crippling so many people. You are stagnant because you have a fear to fail. The thought that life does not come with failure is a dream. You are going to fail. No matter how great of a leader you are, no matter how great of a person you are going to fail. So do not allow the fear of failure to cripple you or to have you stagnant. Stop sitting on those ideas that you had 5 or 10 years ago. And stop waiting for the environment to be conducive to what it is that you want to release when God has already told you to release it. That is what I love about God. He will give you something and the environment may not look conducive for it, but he will shift the environment to be conducive for what it is that he's telling you to release. 1, 2, 3, release it. Release that book. Release that podcast. Release that nonprofit organization. Release what it is that you are being told to release. Some of us fear an increase in responsibility, an increase in expectations, an increase in roles, duties, work. I say all the time, it is hard to see success with the work ethic of a kindergartner. If we're honest, they work harder than some of us. Some of us believe that success just falls on our lap, that we can stay on the couch all day. We can watch TV all day. We can play all day. We can go to the club. We can do all of these things all day and then wonder why our life is reflecting our work ethic. It's reflecting our habits. In order to be successful, you have to shift your habits. You're looking for a job promotion. Act as if you are already in the job that you are seeking. You are not just meeting what is outlined in your job duties. It does not cost you anything to do a little more. To plan as if you are already there. Plan as if you are already in position. So what if your expectations increase? So what if your duties increase? If it is for you, you'll be able to carry the load. And even in those moments that you feel as if you can't carry the load, you have somebody that can help you. One of the things that I truly had to work on as I grew was I had a fear of disappointing people. I started to outgrow friendships. I started to outgrow relationships. I started to outgrow jobs that I was in. And I had this fear of disappointing people. But truth be told, you cannot fear disappointing people to the point it hinders you, that it stops you in your tracks. There will always be people that are not satisfied with the decisions that you make in your life. You will disappoint people. You are going to outgrow people. That is a part of life. And it does not mean that there's bad blood, that there's discord or friction because you outgrew them. It simply means that you are now in a new season and everybody cannot go with you. Be okay with knowing that. I think one of the biggest things that keep us in hiding is shame. I am so big on reminding you of the importance of knowing who you are. The importance of knowing your identity. Your success will intimidate some people. It is important that you own everything about yourself. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent. Your present, your past, and your future. It is important that you come to terms with that. Those skeletons in your closet, you face those. So that if someone tries to go in that closet and pull out that skeleton, you can say, yep, I did that. And stand 10 toes on it. Yes, that was who you were, but that is not who you are. Yes, you may have partied, drank, smoked, did whatever you did in your past, but that's no longer who you are. I want to say this to a woman that may be watching or listening to this podcast and you allowed shame to silence you. I want to say that in this season, it is important that you begin to speak. Whether it is to speak up for yourself, to advocate for others, it's going to require you to speak. Forget those who may have embarrassed you. Forget those who may have tried to shame you. Forget those who may have caused you to doubt yourself. We are no longer internalizing things that were spoken over us that are no longer true. We are no longer afraid to be seen. In talking about hiding, it's important to address the ways that we hide. I spoke about this on a previous episode that some of us become productive to be avoidant. We say, we'll launch that episode next week. We'll launch the business next year. We just need one more credential, one more certification, one more degree before we step or pivot. It's important that you are willing to take risk. It is important that you have enough faith to leap when you're told to leap, to jump when you're told to jump, to pivot when you're told to pivot. Stop waiting until you gain clarity. What you heard was clear. Move forward. Stop waiting for the approval of others. What you heard was your approval. Move forward. I'm a firm believer that once God gives me his yes, I move forward. Blindly, whatever else. You have to trust God that much just to push and move forward towards the light at the end of the tunnel. You don't know how you're going to get there. You may not have a plan to get there. All you know is that something is calling you towards that light, one foot in front of the other. Baby step by baby step until you get there. Sometimes in us trying to prepare, it becomes procrastination. It's only so much preparation that can take place before you execute. How many manuscripts are you going to write before you release that book? Understanding that perfectionism is a hiding place. Some of us use perfectionism to procrastinate. When I first launched this podcast, I thought it was so crazy to me that me as an introvert would now be recording a podcast. Last week, I went to record an episode just to realize that the mic was off. There will be things that happen, but you take the risk and to step forward. Nothing that you do will be perfect. If you're waiting on perfect to be your green light, baby, that light ain't never gonna turn green. You'll be waiting a lifetime. And that is from a recovering perfectionist. I started to believe that every detail had to be perfect before I moved forward, to the point that it had me stuck. It had my mind. I was always hypercritical of myself. Every idea that didn't go the way that I wanted it to go, I would criticize myself. And I started to internalize that criticism to the point I started to reduce the value of myself to myself. My self-esteem was not where it needed to be because I was so hypercritical. I was so hyper focused on my mistakes that when I made mistakes, it was like my world ended because I messed up. Everybody messes up. Everybody falls short. There's nobody perfect. I want you to be free from perfectionism. I want you to be free from that, baby. Because regardless of how much you plan, how hard you work, it will never be perfect. There is beauty in allowing things to be fluid and flexible. There is beauty in being adaptable. Adaptability is one of the best skills that you can have professionally and personally. It allows you to adapt to whatever is going on around you. You cannot control how people handle you. You cannot control how people treat you. There are some things that are going to be out of your control. Some of us need to release wanting to control everything. Control has some of us in a dangerous and dark place, and we need to release that. You're anxious because you're trying to be in control. Your mind is all over the place because you are trying to be in control. Release control. What version of ready are you waiting for? For those who are successful, if you ask them, there may not have been a version of ready before they took the risk. This season may not be requiring you to be ready. It may just be requiring you to be willing. So the question is not, are you ready, but are you willing? Willing to stop shrinking yourself. Stop downplaying your accomplishments. Stop minimizing your voice to make the voices around you comfortable. Growth requires you to be uncomfortable. Stop saying that it's nothing when it's something. Stop avoiding conflict so much that you're miserable at home. No, I didn't appreciate when you tried to minimize my voice. I didn't appreciate when you talked about me. Stop shrinking. People can say what they want to say about what you post on social media, but they do not know the intent of why you're posting. Post your accomplishment. I'm not saying boast. Sometimes people need to see that you did it so that they know that they can do it. That does not happen by not saying or anything. What good is it? What good is your testimony if it's kept inside? What good is it for God to do things and you keep them to yourself? Who's edified in that? Who gets the glory in that? Speak on what God has done for you. Stop trying to make yourself easily digestible for other people. When you're at the table, stop minimizing your thoughts and the things that you want to say that make everyone around you comfortable. It may be that they need to be uncomfortable for the change to come. The worst thing that you can do is be silent or sit on a solution. Your voice is needed. What you have to say is needed. For you to be seen is needed. For you to come out of hiding is needed. Who benefits if you stay hidden? It's a lot of women that feel bad for taking up space. Never apologize for the space that you take up. You are there for a reason. The worst thing that you can do is try to prove why you're at the table. Your goal is not to shrink, it's to swell. Wherever you are, you should be increasing, bringing value to it, multiplying, adding to it. But what happens when the intention is no longer on you and it shifts to someone else? What happens when the intention is no longer on you and it shifts to someone else? The spotlight is not always going to be on you. The limelight is not always going to be on you. There'll be a moment when it shifts. And you have to be okay with it shifting. You have to be okay with not being hidden, but not being at the forefront sometimes. The greatest attribute of great leaders is knowing how to be a follower. Sometimes in some spaces, you will have to follow. You don't just show up to be seen or for the optics. You show up because it's what you're passionate about. You show up because it's required of you. You show up because it's your purpose or your assignment, not seeking attention. Being visible is not the same as attention seeking. Being visible means that you have been brought to the forefront. Not because you sought out attention, but because opportunity sought you. When something is for you, you do not have to go seek it. It will come find you. This is not for those who sit on the couch and have no motivation or drive. You do need to go apply to that job. You do need to find motivation and ambition. However, what I mean is that there is not a door that will open that is for you, that you have to seek attention to get there. You know your identity in Him. And so you can walk different. You can talk different. You can be confident and not cocky. Talking about your work isn't bragging. If you don't celebrate yourself, who is going to celebrate you? Again, we are not boasting. We're not arrogant. Confidence isn't an overnight thing. Confidence is built. It's developed. It happens after you act, after you take that risk. As you begin to take more risks, the more confident you become. The more you experience failure, the closer you are to success. I know that sounds so crazy, but once you become acclimated to failure, you appreciate success. And I'm not saying that you are a failure, but you know what it feels like to fail. So you get up, dust the dirt off your shoulders, and you try again. And eventually, success is the outcome. Confident people did not become confident overnight. They became confident because they kept showing up. What is an area of your life that you need to show up more in so that you can become confident? One of the things that I was doing as I pivoted in my career was I knew that my profession would cause me to speak more. So instead of just waiting for speaking opportunities to come to me, I started taking public speaking classes. Why? Because I knew that I would have to speak publicly. I knew that in order to run meetings, I had to be comfortable with communicating. I had to be comfortable with conflict resolution. I could no longer be avoidant, but also reach solutions. I started to seek out opportunities that would develop me and prepare me for where it was that I wanted to be, where it was that I wanted to go. I encourage you not to wait for the moment before you begin to seek out opportunities that will grow and develop you. Take that class, get that certification, take that extra step to make sure that when you are where you need to be in this next season, that you have already prepared yourself to be there. Preparation does not have to be loud. It will be evident how you talk, how you walk, how you present yourself. I want you to answer these questions. Honestly, what is it that you are afraid of? Are you afraid of failing? Are you afraid of success? Are you afraid of disappointment? Are you afraid of rejection? Are you afraid of being seen? And if you are afraid, why? You have to find out that why. Are you afraid of increased responsibility? Are you afraid of expectations? Are you afraid of judgment? Are you afraid of shame? This week, I want to challenge you with something. Everything that is keeping you in hiding, everything that is causing you to not want to be seen, I challenge you to work on those things this week. I want to say this. I see you. You can no longer be in hiding because you watched or listened to this podcast. It's time for you to come out of hiding and step into your full purpose, to step into what it is that you are supposed to become. This is your call to the front. That is this episode of Girl Heal. Girl, why are you afraid to be seen?